All right, let's do this Meghan McCain thing just to have like a bit more of a fun angle on this story. So, if you
speaking of attached to reality,
right, if you guys need any more evidence, I don't know, for family members or friends that you may be having debates with, that though the people that are supporting Israel in this genocidal project in Gaza are horrible racists themselves and generally horrible on other topics, just send them this. Meghan McCain here speaking about the pro-Palestine demonstrations in the DC area and how somehow Meghan McCain not feeling safe. No, it's okay. But like, there's a lot of talk about how scary these pro-Palestine demonstrations are, but usually it's said about folks who are Jewish.
Yeah, just FYI, Meghan McCain is not Jewish.
No, is her husband? Yes, but her husband is. Okay.
Okay.
But this is what you're hearing, and these are the kinds of people who are making these arguments, which are really fundamentally racist because of the multi-ethnic nature, the vast diversity that is on display in these pro-Palestine demonstrations, and often the fact that there are Arab and Muslim people involved. So McCain's just really continuing her father's legacy here of being deeply racist against Muslim people.
Hostages of babies who have been taken hostage in Israel. I live right outside Washington, D.C. There was a huge protest here over the weekend. And in those protests, there were people putting flags and keffiyehs on statues of Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. There are bloody painted handprints on the side of the White House. It feels like a science fiction movie to me. And I tweeted that it feels kind of like The Handmaid's Tale, but instead of Christian.
It's so ridiculous.
Well, it feels like science fiction to you. Can you flesh that out, Meghan McCain? Why do protests by human beings feel like an alien invasion?
I'm sorry. We're seeing images of like people, Arab citizens, or Palestinian citizens of Israel getting arrested for like scrolling and shit like that, and journalists getting their houses bombed. Up to like 39, I believe, were at journalists, and their families bombed by a country that exports technology to spy on journalists. By the way. Like that is the movie going on right now that is horrible and science fiction type terror. That's actually happening right now. That protests are going on in opposition to it. Like that's The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, well, then there you go. There's the other kind of just racist assumption there, which is that
there's going to be rape happening.
There's going to be rape of women by the dirty Arabs who also don't like the LGBTQ community, who, Meghan McCain has been such a great advocate for in the past. And the Republican Party generally. Like, it's just all about, they're scary, they're inhuman, they're almost like aliens. But when you actually get down to it, they're violent and they hate women and they're going to rape us.
Thomas Jefferson, there are bloody painted handprints on the side of the White House. It feels like a science fiction movie to me. And I tweeted that it feels kind of like The Handmaid's Tale, but instead of Christian extremism, it's Islamic extremism.
There you go.
And I feel really unsafe. And I never feel like this. I am not one of these people that I lived in New York for a really long time. I lived in Los Angeles.
The most dangerous place on earth, not New York.
Shit. And all of a sudden, I took my kids to Chuck E. Cheese over the weekend. And when I came back, my husband was like, how was it? And I was like, it was great. How are you? And he said, good. But then I was actually worried about if something was going to happen to you guys at Chuck E. Cheese. Which he's not like that either. And I just think that right in this moment, the best thing that you and I can do is just keep talking. But I feel very untethered in a way that I haven't maybe ever.
Okay, pause it for a sec. Meghan McCain is one of the most, a professional victim. She's been openly crying about how the left is so mean to her for many years at this point, and now she's pretending this is the first time she's voiced any personal discomfort related to her politics. She's the queen of that.
Her husband is fucking Puerto Rican too, not Jewish.
He's not Jewish?
No, not that I can tell.
but it's all they're coming for the white people.
I don't know if he's a Jewish.
I don't see anything on either his or his dad's Wikipedia page to indicate it anyway. But so I don't know. Maybe he is. But
I mean, to paraphrase what Amy Schumer put on her Instagram, like first they came for the Zionists and then they came for all the white people because that's exactly what those scary Arabs do.
I do know that. Yeah, Ben Dominic. I just know like the one thing I've seen on his ethnicity is that he got really offended that people called him white because he had his family comes from like people who have streets named after them in Puerto Rico. So,
well, his dad, Douglas, served as the U.S. Department of the Interior's White House liaison and Secretary of the Interior's Deputy Chief of Staff during H.W. Bush's administration, founder of the Federalist, got
Hey, your husband's not Jewish. I just
exactly.
Imagine.
So now it's even crazier that she is like the anti-Semitism crusader.
Yes, yeah. No. This is really just like, to borrow from Barnaby Rain, this is a moral panic here, and it's about suburban ladies feeling very, very unsafe because there might be some Muslim people that they might have to have an interaction with, and there are non-white people that are saying, hey, we don't approve of this genocide. How scary is that? In a child in Gaza
from the river to Chuck E. Cheese.
A child in Gaza is dying I shouldn't be, your joke was so good I continued my smiling, but a child in Gaza is dying every 10 minutes. But you know what's most important is the sensibilities of wealthy white women who, have decided that this is a moment to center themselves.
Meghan McCain talking about how her and her husband are made up of a very strong constitution, so they usually wouldn't be nervous about terrorist attacks in Chuck E. Cheese. When Meghan McCain went on Seth Meyers in 2019 and was questioned rather adversarially, which he was not accustomed to, Ben Domenech tweeted, I see that Seth Meyers, the untalented piece of shit who only has his job because he regularly gargled Lorne Michaels' balls, went after my wife tonight with his idiotic anti-Semitic bullshit.
My wife.
So it seems as if this guy definitely has it all together when
Wait, why is it anti-Semitic?
I mean, what?
In 2019?
Yep.
To question Meghan McCain aggressively?
Yeah, she's
standing up for Jewish people.
She asked Seth Meyers in that interview, "What are you, Ilhan Omar's spokesperson?" Because I guess they were talking about some sort of censure or
I would just look up Eli Valley's Meghan McCain cartoon.
Which is anti-Semitic.
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, obviously.
A Jewish cartoonist of Meghan McCain.
Yes.
It's anti-Semitic.
All right, we got a little more of this?
There's not much else, if you want.
I mean,
we got the Chuck E. Cheese thing, but yeah, we can get to it.
Sure. From the river to Chuck E. Cheese, really, Bender, just A+.
That way.
We've spoken about this privately at length at how, people have been scared for a long time.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
COVID and the lockdowns and stuff really magnified it and put a picture to it, I guess. But once the lockdowns lifted, I really thought things would go back to normal. But, in just a few weeks, 2020 is going to be 4 years ago, which sounds crazy.
Time's dilated.
Because so much has happened since then. But it feels like people aren't even at a 10 anymore. It feels like everyone's at like a 14.
I totally agree.
Wow, these are deep thoughts here.
In my town
it's
where
for
I live, there were
louder.
some people that got into an argument at a bar, and instead of just leaving it at the argument at the bar, they went in, got in their car, and just drove into the crowd.
Oh my God.
Because they're so pissed off.
All right, we're good.
I know what we're talking
I mean,
about.
honestly,
Good stuff.
Can white women in this country just get out more, slightly? She talks about the pandemic. Sounds like that made people who were already paranoid racists into even more paranoid racists. That's why there's this constant push to say that crime and violent crime is somehow up when we're seeing 2023 or historic drops after the pandemic and lockdowns began to subside. But, it's really all about Meghan McCain's feelings. That's how we should center politics, is around white ladies' feelings.
I think we need to up the output of a true crime podcast. To get
exactly. I mean,
what's wild about this, especially? Have you guys seen what Cindy McCain is up to? John McCain's
yes.
widow? Cindy McCain is doing a complete turnaround. She is apparently Biden's executive director of the World Food Program. Like he put her in this position, and she's been out there calling for the fighting to stop in Gaza, calling for Israel to stop bombing Gaza so they can get humanitarian aid in.
Yeah.
And she signed a ceasefire letter. Cindy McCain.
I love it.
Cindy McCain is to the left of Bernie Sanders on this issue.
God.
It's like Emma and Tim Pool with foreign policy.
Yeah. All right. I mean, whew,
talk to your mom, Megan.
Yeah.
I think she might be. Is your mom a terrorist? Is she giving material aid to terrorists, Megan? The terrorism is coming from inside the house. The anti-Semitism. Oh my goodness.
I know.
And I just want to add too, Cindy McCain hasn't been even quietly doing this in the background. She's been on Al Jazeera, regularly for the past few weeks, talking about this stuff. Like she's putting herself out there, saying we need to help these people. It's going to get to a point where it's too late.
Oh my God, we have it here?
Can't get over it.
Well, I mean, what? Let's go. Cindy McCain.
Yes, sir, on the BBC.
Cindy, we can see those lines of trucks just ready and waiting to go. Can you just tell us exactly what is in those trucks?
Well, in our convoy, I can speak to our convoys specifically. We have food. We're carrying medicine from WHO. We're carrying supplies from OEM, and I'm sure a few other things in there. But those are the three major items that we have going in that have been requested. And as you know, we have people on the ground already there that were previously there prior to this war. So we've been feeding, so far we've fed 522,000 people. But again, the supplies are running low. The stores where they can actually purchase items through our cash-based transfers are running low. They're just, things are going to become catastrophic very soon unless we can get these trucks in.
And what's your understanding as to what's delaying? I mean, obviously, we've seen some roadworks continuing because the road itself has been damaged going into Gaza. What do you get the sense is that is the major hold-up on this?
Well, I think there's a lot of factions in all this, and I can't speak to any of them because I'm not privy to it. I'm just on the receiving end of it, not being able to get my trucks in. I'm hoping that the powers that be, and I've talked to a lot of them, begin to take note and understand the importance and the absolute severity of this situation. I think people are beginning to listen. We're hoping tomorrow, fingers crossed for tomorrow. But in the meantime, we're going to keep plugging along. And
Cindy, even if those trucks do start moving.
Appreciate it, Cindy. I mean, she's called for a ceasefire. This is more in her role as, I guess, with what is her? She's the chief of the World Food Program. So that's why she's focusing on that. But
on the BBC, yeah, I mean,
pretty amazing. Good for her.
I mean, talk to your daughter.
Some people, they just the chains broken free. No,
yeah.
No,
okay.
Oh, there you go.
Hey,
a life after your husband passes away, a whole new person. That's your chance to really spread your wings and fly. And Cindy McCain, she's going for it.
Cindy McCain for president? Question mark.
I've seen this happen where a woman's partner dies in older age, and it turns out that actually there was a lot of suppression going on. I'm not saying that's what's going on with Cindy McCain here, but it is a actual dynamic that is interesting. And good on Cindy McCain for standing up for ceasefire.
Yep.
Honestly, come on. I mean, it's almost like so late now in the game where it's like, I would welcome Bernie this minute coming out for a ceasefire, but it's like, what the fuck what have we been doing?
You've got to think that it's just him cowering to the Biden administration, and he's saying everything except ceasefire, but it's just it doesn't matter. I agree.